Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, you're still watching the Lenovo Lenovo LOL Collegiate League 2017 spring term, and then we are at our 5th week. We're at North Luzon Conference right now. And we just come back from a very clean game from Bulacan State University.
We're going to be your shoutcasters for this game. Opposition with 1 for 9. And of course, with me is Atlas. Medyo malaki pa yung epekto sa'yo kanina. Flashing in, Rylai's Crystal Scepter, Miss Fortune.
That game was messy.
Claim 1 pa lamang yun mga kaibigan. So nagbabadya tayo ngayon. Pero tingnan natin because I have very high expectations, I'd say. Para dito sa dalawang school na matutungan natin maglalaban para dito sa ating Game 2. We got, as you mentioned, St. Louis University versus University of the Cordilleras. Ayan sa ating schedule. Siyempre, mamaya babalik ulit yung mga players natin kanina with a very, very convincing game. Bulsu, GG. So, nabigay shoutout sa Bulacan State University and of course, sa The Otaku Philippines, yung kanilang organization na sobrang todo at mala impacto mag-promote para sa Bulsu GG. So, alam mo yun, ang daming following pala na netong Bulsu GG. So, talagang
so many.
I want to send a big shoutouts. Medyo marami-rami mga viewers natin na nanggagaling ngayon dyan. Siyempre, gusto ko rin batiin yung mga viewers natin, mga student summoners natin na nanonood at susuporta sa mga schools na maglalaro pa ngayon. So, we head back. University of Cordilleras versus St. Louis University. Do take note that itong dalawang team na to, lalo pa yung St. Louis University, it is, actually dalawa sila. Veteran team pa rin sila, di ba? Oo. Take note na, as we discussed earlier, St. Louis University was part of the top 4 ng ating 2016 LCL Spring, right? And top 4 not just of the conference, pero top 4 overall. So, you know, we got a top 4 team dito sa ating laban ngayon. The other half, but the thing there is that nagkaroon ng roster update, syempre.
Yeah. Because some St. Louis University's major players, they graduated, unfortunately. I mean, fortunately for them, they graduated. But for the team, however, there were a lot of changes in team dynamic. So, what's interesting about these two is that they're sister schools. University of Cordilleras and St. Louis University. This Deus Volt, God Wills It, versus the Angels of Death, University of Cordilleras, Scythe.
Oh, diba? Scythe.
Yeah. So it's like edgy versus holy. It's
Scythe.
a very good matchup. But of course,
tsaka si God Wills
It, Deus Volt,
God Wills
it's Latin.
Miss Fortune, Rylai. Flash in.
This is going to be this week's Zizerot portal.
Okay.
But of course, coming into the games, we will still be having our Search and Win promo.
Yes, of course.
Just wait for the link.
It's trivia.
Yeah, it's trivia. Search and Win trivia. Ang nanalo kanina. Tanong ay, what was a second Drake from that game? Nanalo dyan, I see Michael Poru.
Okay.
Congratulations. You were quick on the draw. You will be getting that mystery gift in a few working days. Congratulations. But of course, going back to the game.
Sa mga summoners natin, okay, before we get back into the game, sa mga summoners natin, sa mga viewers natin, syempre, gusto namin na manalo kayo. So, pro tip mga kaibigan, magbukas na kayo ng tab, okay? Magbukas na kayo ng tab so that in a moment na lumabas.
bit.ly/ and then just wait for the code.
Para pag lumabas yung link, itatype nyo na lang, di ba? Pero syempre, antabay pa rin kayo sa game. Huwag pa rin alt-tab. Yung ka-chat nyo, yayain nyo na lang manood dito sa LCL, di ba? Para sama-sama tayo, lalo pa.
Pwede pa kayo mag-bonding dyan over the game.
Lalo pa kung girl gamer yan, di ba? Girl gamer, mga kaibigan. So let's get back into this game. As we mentioned, top 4 po yung St. Louis University dito ng ating 2016 Spring. But we have big questions, of course, because of the roster update na meron dito para sa SLU, whereas University of Cordilleras, naku, napagandang school niyan. Sobrang tagal na niyan sa Baguio City, you know, World War, dun pa lang, yun yung time na na school na yan after World War. And they got 3 centers of excellence pa sa sa school with top-notchers, okay?
Wow, that is impressive.
So, University of Cordilleras, mga kaibigan, we're looking forward kung ano yung papakita nila because they are a veteran team as well.
Yeah,
okay?
So there's lots of expectations coming here. We've yet to prove if they will be getting a center of excellence for League of Legends for the LCL here.
Of course.
Prioritizing the pick here.
Sorry. Pero don't worry, actually, ang SLU, they had a fair share of achievers din sa kanila. They actually yung isang top 3 ng PMA class sa Laknib galing sa kanila. And it's a lady. It's a lady officer. St. Louis yan.
Very impressive.
So for our draft,
students here.
sige, what are your thoughts?
So far, the thoughts here, the priority pick for the top lane for Kissy here will be the Scion.
Okay.
Not very orthodox as well. I don't not predicted anyone to ever pick Scion in this patch, in this meta. Could be useful for a very solid front line here.
New entry sa meta ngayon, be expecting Renekton pa nga.
We have a very fast-paced pick and ban here.
Okay.
I think we already have the complete composition from Scythes here.
Okay.
The response here will be the Karma Ashe bot lane. As Vulcan said, Ashe is a lot stronger because of the changes to Warlord's Bloodlust, being able to kite back, get that lifesteal off. So there's lots of utility. Looking at it straight up from the Deus Vault at St. Louis University. They've got the Karma on the top lane. No, it's probably gonna be Karma there in the bot lane with the Ashe, with Vince playing that Poppy. So there's lots of peel for Legolas here. Very fitting name, Legolas on that Ashe Archer.
Lady Legolas, yeah, of course.
Lots of peel, lots of utility.
Of course, para dito, it's more on the standard talaga na pasok sa meta pa rin. You know, no pick that outshines really kung ano man yung madalas natutunan natin sa ating competitive league. Whereas para naman dito,
on the side of the Scythes, very different.
We have, actually, if I trace it, I think we have a very high frequency ng pick-up ng Thalia sa LCL din. And now we are reintroduced again sa Thalia dito sa ating 2017 Spring Split. Pas isama pa nga yung Sion. I wonder though, how does Thalia stands in the meta right now? Not really touch. I would be expecting kung meron pang mag-fix man lang. Ganun,
not a lot of data on Thalia for now. In this meta, in this split, in this term. But he can be, she can be solid. Solid.
You want to if you want to influence the other lanes early on, Thalia has a very nice kit and actually quick upfront damage.
Yeah, if you combine it with Sion, with the Rek'Sai, once they reach level 6, it's just roaming all over the map. I think that's the game plan coming from the University of Cordillera Scythes. Once they reach their level 6 spike, they just roam all the way out to bot lane.
Sakto yan, pag ult ni Sion, babangga sa wall ni Thalia.
Yeah.
Di mo stopper si Sion.
Plus the Void Rush will be there for the roaming, the assist as well. So I think that's their game plan here. They have a very solid front line in the Rek'Sai and the Sion. And a very good mid line. It's not really a back line because of their relatively short range. Lucian and Thalia will be there for the damage there from the back line. Lucian as well. The changes in 7.5, I think. They seem small. They're not damage-oriented, but Lucian, I think, already has all the damage he needs.
University of Cordilleras yan. So they will be capitalizing on the laning phase. Kung saan kailangan talaga, they will want to utilize their kit and visiting the other lanes. Sanay na sanay naman yan sa hike dyan. Baguio City yan eh.
Yeah.
Pero syempre, St. Louis University din. To add up, actually, I just realized na yung ating Miss International, si Kylie Versosa, Luis yan yun. Taga St. Louis yan.
I did not know that. That's a little bit of trivia for all of you who are outside of SLU.
St. Louis University then, they actually have this software engineer na babae, Madeline Montes. Yan. Ano siya? She got featured kasi summa cum laude siya, pero hardcore gamer siya. Diba? Diba? Simula pa lang ng cast, wala pa tayo sa game, naka-mention na ako ng 3 babae.
That's a lot of
ladies' names. Caster
prestige.
Moves. Yeah, caster moves.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
Bisita ako dyan, huwag niyo po ako i-lock out sa St. Louis University.
Susumbong kita
Ayan, mga kaibigan. Anyway, we want to send a bigger shoutouts again sa mga student summoners natin, okay? Again, kung gusto nyo manalo ng Mr. Gift, be sure to open up a tab. Pero subaybayan nyo rin yung laro. You have to pay attention to the game, especially with the objectives. If there are some flashy plays, maybe sa first blood pa nga lang, baka yun yung mga tanongin. Yung mga ganong nature ng tanong, okay? And also, tell us your thoughts. Please utilize the chat. We are live at gaming.youtube.com/phgrina/live. Be sure to log in your Gmail accounts para pwede ka makapag-type. Yan.
Meron din tayo sa FB Live. And the official LOL Collegiate League page for the Philippines.
Be sure to share that one.
Share that one because the more viewers we get, the more fun we can have in the chat as well. Lots of support for the local scene.
I'm very curious as well from the talents na magagaling sa North Luzon nga conference because right now we are down to the second to the last conference on our first cycle ng ating stream dito. Kasi on the week 6, makukompleto na natin yung 6 na conference kung saan parang itong mga unang 6 na linggo ng LCL parang preview, di ba? Introduction muli. Or if not, para sa Mindanao Conference or for other conference, reintroduction ng mga teams at ng mga conference for the returning teams. And of course, para rin sa mga new blood, sa mga bagong pasok, sa mga first year natin. Speaking of Ateneo. And of course, para sa mga update natin sa lineup. Still, tuloy-tuloy lamang po tayo dito sa LCL because as you've seen kanina, did you discuss the structure ng LCL natin?
Yeah, we did discuss the format. It's very bloody.
Malaki-laki pa yung...
The qualifiers were 150 and they narrowed it down to the 48 teams we have. And of course, it's all going down to until the finals.
Interconference pa tayo.
Interconference and then the semis, the quarters, and then the finals.
I would like to take this opportunity as well sa mga summoners natin to invite you to the Garena Premier League that
Oh,
will
GPL.
be held in the Samsung Hall, ladies and gentlemen, sa SM Aura this April 16 championship. Do take note that yesterday we just crowned the champion ng PGS 2017 Spring Split, much to the saltiness of Atlas here. It's not gonna be IPT, it will be Mineski who will be representing the Philippines. Mismo rin sa Philippines. And dito nga, doon sa GPL. So if you want to get those details para sa GPL natin and secure, in securing your tickets, to know kung saan binibenta yung mga tickets na yan, make sure to visit gpl.garena.com.
Yeah, it's gonna show you everywhere, because it's not just here in the Garena office that you can buy your tickets. There's also a lot of other internet cafes that are selling those tickets for GPL. So just check out that site.
Yes,
it's going to be very exciting to cast GPL as well as watch all the teams from Southeast Asia just clash it out together. And I'm excited how Mineski will fare.
Not to mention na last year, nagkaroon din tayo, ito GPL International League. Take note, last year, na-introduce na tayo of the LICC. Di ba? Yan,
for the collegiate level.
Oh, it cannot be denied. It's very unlikely, leaning for surely. Meron naman tayo ngayong taon, sino kaya magiging representative natin doon, di ba? Oo, anong school lalo pa.
Super exciting.
Ang daming teams na kasali ngayon sa LCL. Mas maraming teams, mas filtered, mas mataas ang level of competition. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, from North Luzon, sa kabundukan at kalamig-lamigan ng Baguio, mga kaibigan. It's gonna be University of the Cordilleras versus St. Louis Universities. Two sisters fighting it off for supremacy in the Summoner's Rift. Sino sa palagay nyo ang magwawagi?
Seems like sneaky play agad sa St. Louis University. No, it's just going to be dispersing for now, going back to their own jungle. No aggressive invades so far. But yeah, looking at the composition here, it seems like they really, both of these teams are really banking on their AD carries.
Yep.
On the side of the Scythes here, Akanos really want very short range, so having that Eye of the Storm Shield plus the Monsoon healing and peel plus the rest of the front line that can bring up with the Tali as well supporting from the sidelines is going to be very painful if he can weave around the battlefield in and out. But of course Legolas is going to make that very hard with his own tons of utility. He's got the Orianna, he's got the Karma, got the Poppy. Plus, no slash and damage will be the jungler as well. KRX on that Graves.
Cannot be denied as well na yung Lucian nga is actually something on the rise na rin.
I think the change to the casting time of his spells is very big.
Kahit parang of the first look, parang wala naman talagang damage buff. Pero ang laki ng contribution just because of yung smoothness of control.
Yeah, the smoothness of control.
Ng patch 7.5
There's less time to react and sidestep or flash out of the piercing light. And I think that's huge to consider the power of Lucian in this kind of meta. But so far, it doesn't seem like any of our teams are making any cheesy plays here for the level 1 and 2.
I'm curious nga kung paano i-complement ni Babs to. Kasi of course, can't be denied that the support here of University of the Cordilleras is leaning more on the conservative side, di ba? Pero sometimes you can actually utilize Janna offensively. Kasi yung shield na yun, ang taas ng damage spike na nabibigay nyo, especially on Lucian. And you know, the moment that you land one Howling Gale is very big. You know, it denies around 2 hits.
And denies and it actually sets up a lot of damage for the piercing light as well as the light slinger double shots.
Yep.
So the trades are going to be really good on the side of Akinos.
Have you ever been to Baguio?
No, I have not. I've never been to Baguio.
You should go to Baguio.
I might have gone to Baguio, but I think I was a baby back then, so I'm not aware enough.
Oh, hindi ka nilamig.
I was a baby. How can I remember Shinbu?
Well, Baguio is a very nice place. And
I've been told.
I'm not mistaken, the likes of James actually hails from Baguio. So yung level of play din sa Baguio City.
Can't be denied.
Kaya, I'd say if I'd make comparative opinions about Baguio compared to other regions of Pilipinas, like I'd say medyo may good amount of talent mula sa Baguio. Mas visible compared sa Mindanao, ganon. As far as I know kasi, of course it's given, nasa NCR yung parang mahingay tsaka ma-competitive na talent for League of Legends. Pero it cannot be denied din na nasa Iloilo, may kultura sila ng League of Legends talaga doon, di ba?
Even in the PGS as well.
Kahit i-expand panahon pa lang ng Decifer, matindi na sa Iloilo. And to the information of many, sa mga hindi nakakaalam din, is that Baguio has a fair share of talent din for League of Legends. Ayan. So we are back in the game, ladies and gents. No first blood yet. We are about to enter the 3-minute mark. I'd say, ang Graves kasi early on, dependent naman kung gaano siya, compared to other junglers, hindi ganun kasi grado, na makakuha siya ng
because he doesn't have a lot of gank pressure, but because of his clear...
Yeah, damage lang Tsaka yung update kasi sa items ngayon, kaya sobrang pasok na pasok yun sa teeth ng jungle si Graves.
Yeah, but his pressure is dependent a lot on the state of the game.
Yep.
He can counter jungle. He's best in a counter gank where he can reliably bring out his damage, because if he just goes for a direct gank without red buff, even with red buff, it's going to be very difficult to get those kills unless they're really out of position or the fight's already been committed in the bot or top lane.
Which KRX can capitalize actually in the top lane.
Yeah.
The moment na itong si Cry mapamaling lumapit sa top lane, or rather he gets spotted by KRX here. Quick draw, papasok, return damage of End of the Line, hindi dinudge ni Cry. Dito mukhang mapapakry-cry siya kasi na first blood siya. So, 0-1, ladies and gentlemen, and buff has been reset.
Yeah, the buff reset, that's actually big for his clear.
Yes.
And sustain, because red buff does give you a little bit of HP regeneration over time. That's going to refresh his blue buff as well for consistent clear and damage with his end of the line, plus his quick draw. Yeah. So it's actually very useful and huge, being able to get his first item very much quicker.
You'd always dodge the return damage of end of the line.
Yes.
Sakit dun. Okay?
That's where majority of the damage comes from. You just can't fight Graves in that straight up fight if you're the one that gets caught off out of position.
Not to mention na yung end of the line na yun, walang tinamaan na ball. So, yung return damage...
There was a lot of reaction time given for Cry there. Seems like Akinos is looking for a little bit of a trade here. Nothing comes out of it.
Yep.
Just a very slow-paced game so far, except for that top lane, that top jungle mishap from Cry.
Kasi, pinik niya rin mag-engage diba?
Yeah.
Pinik niya rin mag-engage, and he was... Actually, may one normal hit lead si KRX doon. And
yeah, that's also one of the advantages of Graves. He's a ranged champion.
Kung tumagal man yung fight na yun, mas una makaka-respond si Vince kaysa kay Kisi. Kasi si Kisi kanina ay naka-shove.
Yeah, pushed into the lane. But yeah, that does not take away from what pressure Cry can give out as
early on.
However, he still has that flash on Burrow engage for his ganks. Probably going to look into the bot lane and mid lane for that. Right now, he's just counter-jungling. A little bit of a revenge for Cry here.
But I don't think he can withstand the damage mula kay Graves dito kapag nagkaroon na naman ng dalawang palitan sa dalawang junglers na to. I don't think nakikita wala pang idea si KRX na si Cry ay nasa jungle.
And
he would
Cry
walk away.
immediately gets
and will rotate
dodge.
to the bot lane.
Yep.
Okay. Of course, not to signal to go all in with engage. Rather, umengage na rin dito ang mga member ng SLU. Exhaust and Legolas. Mamamaalam siya. Lord of the Rings. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes Cry. Once again, return damage. Tap on chain gets pushed into the wall. Whereas yung ADC nila si Akinos ay nawala na rin. So, 1-for-1 with ADC. Even trade for these two teams. Cry, though, I wonder how will he escape this one.
The red buff applied.
This is just one end of the line. Kahit wala ng return damage. Okay, normal hitang kailangan. Quick draw in the mid lane. It's Nui like killing Antares as well.
Taking advantage of all that commotion there in the jungle. Nue does get that kill. Burns both of Antares' summer spells. That will be a little pause. Gives us a little bit of time to discuss everything that's happening just from that chill level 1, 2, and 3. We get that action there in the bot lane already. The teleports burned for the top lane.
Yep.
And just a little bit of a fight there. And actually, I think the biggest impact there was...
Hindi nag-teleport si Kisi doon, no?
Yeah, I think he did cancel his teleport there. Just opted to go in straight to the lane.
Yeah. Mad props for Vince with the teleport. Yeah, let's
look at the replay here. Because at first, Legolas has to expect the gank from Cry. But I think expecting the teleport, expecting the response from KRX, they go for a little bit of commit into that. But
the flash.
Yeah, the flash as well from Akinos. That's a very good heroic charge there, but Of course, the flash.
Sana hindi nag-flash si Akinos. Kasi isang hiwa na lang ni Cry. Secured na yung kill na yun.
Did not need to go for that.
I don't know.
And here Nue.
Yeah, in the
just goes for a switcheroo there, but does get the kill eventually. But yeah, Akinos, I think if he had not flashed, the fight would have gone a little bit different.
Could have escaped. Actually, what he could have done is the moment na naka-knock up na si Cry, nag-ano na siya doon, nag-relentless pursuit. Okay. Kasi ni-relentless pursuit niya pa panghabol. But here we go with Antares here. The fight's all in between receiving the shockwave. Antares gets the knockup, but this will result in a 2v1 kasi nandito pa rin si Kissy. Kissing KRRX, who won't be enough as the passive will run out of gas. So 2-4-1 naman tayo. Still, it's St. Louis University's lead.
Yeah, they're really revving up here, as you said, but that was dirty.
Yeah.
The shockwave into the end of the line, into the collateral damage. That was a 2v3 into a 2v1.
Well, we'd be expecting that both of these two teams are willing to take a fight.
Yeah, they are very, very willing. And since they are sister teams, I do make the assumption that they practice together a lot, scrim together a lot, so they do know how each other play. And I think that's manifesting in how they're so confident in taking fights. Just go straight in, fearless.
The trades here are very messy, man.
Yeah,
like it's not a chess game. Kapag may cooldown na available, itira mo lang.
Yeah, just go straight into it. Yeah, and I think that's part of the confidence of knowing a little bit of how more intimate knowledge of how the other team plays. I think the confidence plays into that, but as you can see, it doesn't always work out there.
Yeah, hindi porke intimate, it will always work out.
Yeah, that's some advice from Shinbu. 100% accurate.
Actually, sinasabi ko, kino-compliment ko na yung sinasabi mo. Sabi mo, di ba, intimate yung ano nila.
I mean, it is because they are sister teams.
Oh, di ba? Oh, sister teams. Nako, mga kaibigan. The places you're going, man.
Shinbu.
Okay. So, ano tayo?
Get your mind out of there.
Back into the game. So, right now, no early drakes pa dito sa dalawa. Again, it will be a reset kasi daming na-burn kanina.
Yeah, there's a lot of cooldowns burnt here, but it seems like they will be going back on cooldown, cooldown for now.
Yeah, so we'd be expecting another fight here.
Might actually be a fight for the Drake here, because the Ocean Drake will be very useful for both of these teams, especially for SLU.
And despite the lead here, if you look into the minimap sa mga summoners natin, you'd observe that the turrets walang masyadong gas-gas na tore.
Yeah.
So we'd be expecting long laning plays, and this would work nice para sa University of Cordilleras.
They really want a little bit of time to scale up, and Kissy taking a little bit of a beating here from Vince.
Ang kinakailangan dito ay makapunta si New kaagad sa mga lanes kasi it seems na mas malaki yung control ngayon ni KRX compared kay Cry. 5-0-0 yung Graves na to. It's like you have a very heavy
he has 100% kill participation.
Hard-hitting champion.
He has so much gold.
Kapag binaril ka niya. Yung kanyang passive, diba? Of course, scatter shot, napakasakit. Okay, like, I'd say magiging priority target na dito si KRX, and do take note, you don't want to underestimate the tactics ng isang Graves. Here comes a knock-up onto Antares again. It's another two-man knock-up ahead of the line. Rather collateral damage will not connect. Here comes Kissy, kissing KRX. Gets the knock up. There is the support mula kay Antares sa 2v1. Labs, he will put in the shield mula kay Kissy. Very likely Kissy will survive. Flash away mula kay Savvy the backline. Cry will shove away and shoo away Antares dito. Vince, a tanky target. Not gonna be a priority, syempre, but still will receive a knock-up mula kay Cry. They may wanna watch out. Do take note, Antares still has mana here. He has the firepower. One last tap, ultimation, and up front, the passive is proc. Will go for the chase, maybe secure the minion. It's a win there, muli ng SLU.
And yeah, and that was a lot of, as I said, confidence from KRX. Even hearing the loud noise from the Scion Ultimate, the Unstoppable charge there.
Yeah.
Just go straight for it. Legolas.
At least he gets shut down. But look at that. Here comes Akinos. Here's the passive. Piercing light. Gets the tap. Did not connect. The extended shot. One last hit. It's gonna be Legolas, mga kaibigan. Syempre, Legolas yan.
That small angle off from the piercing light just let Legolas, plus the tower shots, just take him out. And then that fight in the mid lane, the confidence from KRX, as I said, just go straight for the kill, even with the Scion charging into that. You can see the
Nicely done, man.
And he just goes straight for it, even with the monster just drifting towards him there. Running in the 90s, slashes him down.
Nice camera work then.
Yeah.
Following the arrow. So, yep, this is just the standoff. Ang weird dito, actually, yung later part, nagstay lang yung UC pa.
Yeah, the resulting fight was a lot messy. A lot messier than the fight before. But still, that is a win for SLU. That gives them a 1.4K gold lead here.
The cool thing there is that yung 1.4K nakalagay sa isang champion.
Yeah, it's all on KRX.
So, if you put up a mission on destroying the lead of KRX here, get a bounty, it is gonna be very rewarding for your team.
Yeah, but it's so hard to face up against the Graves once he gets his items, his damage going, because he can just take you out 1v1.
Yeah.
And it's also very hard to take him out with two members because he can just burst all of you. And if Antares is there for the support, just goes for the shockwave into that combination. It's very painful.
Ni Graves talaga. The true grit passive.
The true grit helping him a lot. It seems like he's going for the Yomus here. Going really a lot for this team fighting for straight up damage. I've seen
there's no need to build defensive din ngayon
because he's so ahead. The best defensive play is to just kill the enemy. It seems like Antares.
He's gonna flash in. Okay, all in. Nakakap mula kay Kren. Daming Brenna flash dito mula sa UC. Flash out si Antares. Won't be touched here by the members of University of Cordilleras. But here comes Kissy. Movement speed mula kay Savvy. There's KRRX and you could see na being up front, hindi niya problema yan. Double kill na po itong ating Papi. Hammer full onto Babs and that's two champions in the pocket of St. Louis University.
And they will be able to transition this into the mid lane turret. Will be the first turret of the game, but the defense is relentless.
Yep. Okay, just go for the wave clear. Stall this one out. It's a 5v3 pa rin.
So it's going to be the Dragon instead. Will be the apple of the eyes for both of these teams.
There are actually no champions who are incapable of properly diving the top lane. Medyo obvious kung saan magagaling si Vince dito despite his tankiness. Of course, you would use your ultimate to peel away anyone who tries to go near the Ocean Drake. That's the first Ocean Drake for SLU.
That's actually... I think it's worth it for UC to just defend that turret straight up. You can see the fight here. Antares gonna be flashed in with Nue here. Gets the earth there. However,
damage, man.
Yeah, he just is able to flash away there. And KRX, the threat of KRX just pushes Cry away. Even with Kissy there, just keeps on fighting. Nimbly dodges the Q there from the Scion. Just allows them to just clean up the kill, and that over-the-wall heroic charge was pretty good.
Pwede pa yung mga initiates ng University of Cordilleras.
Yeah.
Pero, pwede lang hindi okay. Ganyan yung double flash.
Pwede na.
Pwede lang. Pero, what I want to mention here is that it's like University of Cordilleras, okay? University of Cordilleras, they always get outplayed by a thick thread here ng SLU. Ilang beses nagkakaroon ng moments na pwede na sana mapatay yung kanilang target, hindi na papatay-patay.
And then KRX there for the counter damage, Vince there for the tankiness and the bodyguard duty, and the Enchanted Crystal Arrow always hits someone.
And with this kind of composition, one of the worst things to face right now would be a pop in the front line na merong Graves sa likod.
Yeah.
Because ang hirap madikitan ng Graves na to. And right now, with this kind of lead, Vince will also deal very significant amount of damage.
And it seems like they are going to get this Rift Herald buff, and Cry is in no position to contest this. Neither is Kissy. We'll just have to give that away. It will be very good on Vince, but also that power, if it goes on KRX, will be very, very phenomenal. We'll see who they'll give it to you. It's going to be Vince to further his lead there in the top lane against Kissy.
At least sila yung nakakuha ng Rift Herald.
Yeah.
So, alam mo, there's a good reason for them to stand on the buff. Kasi, di ba?
Are we still on that? We were on Zizrot portals in the first game. Now we're on Rift Herald.
I'm just telling you na ganun yung sa Rift Herald. Anyway, so 16 minutes into the game, ladies and gents, it's a 2K gold lead. The problem here is actually the bounty of SLU still not denied against them. And right now, the lead is on key champions now mula sa SLU. You know, Graves, he got an early lead. Snowballed the other lanes with it. Tumutulong pa si Poppy dito. And if you'd want, hindi masama magkaroon ng maraming kills si Poppy.
Yeah,
because you could that's an early signal na pwede na kayo mag-group up and take team fights.
Yeah, take over the game, and the tanky Poppy will just be unkillable. With the Sunfire Cape giving her a lot of the damage over time that she needs.
Yeah.
And Vince here having a very, very good time. The Rift Scuttler.
Ano na rin to, Merc Threads na rin.
Yeah.
It's
very hard to lock him down.
Oo, pachi-pachi ng damage ng Talia dito eh. Siyempre, so malaki yung effect ng magic resistance ng Merc Threads na yon.
Yeah, the Rift Herald buff is doing a lot of work for Vince here.
Yep. Yeah. All you need is just pick up the shield, put in the ultimate, will force a flash away from Vince. So at least there is that. The stacking health ni Sion.
Yeah.
Not to mention yung laning kit niya.
Yeah, being able to just match even the Poppy with a Rift Herald is pretty good for Kissy here, allowing him to keep in the pace.
Considering yung itemizations kasi nila, pantay pa lang naman sila ni Kissy. Pero may machine na pick up. Pero kasi kanina, wala namang effect masyado yung Merc Threads kay Sion. Siguro just a reduction on the crowd control. Pero every time naman na naglaland yung skill mo on Sion, and it's about really dominating the lane.
It's all about the presence there in the lane and being able to match each other. I think that's enough for most top laner matchups. Just be there, match each other in a balanced matchup, and just always be prepared to go for a teleport play. I think that sort of status quo is perfect for a lot of top laner matchups. It's gonna be the animation coming from KRX here, going for the Edge of Night. Not a lot of magic damage from Scythe, but the CC, the spells that he needs to dodge, might actually be crucial. He could have been charged in by that Scion.
Okay, so here comes the heroic charge mula sa Sion. Of course, there is also the decimating smash. Ladies and gentlemen, end of the line gets casted on KC. Will be forced to flash away. Soul Furnace gets used for the shield. Here comes Cry. Heroic charge mula kay Vince. Come on, naka from the Unbarrow Force a flash away mula kay New. Wala nang pipil para kay New. KRRX will they get a bounty? Vince being the tank. Ito yung pinakaya mong sitwasyon. Yung may Poppy at may Graves sa likod. Pero kung tatlo kayo, okay lang. So KRRX would walk away knowing that his frontline Vince is already gone.
Seems like Antares is a little late to the party. A lot of pings on him from UC signaling that he is there and is a threat. So now they're just going to back off. Cry. Close call there. Burrows out of time. Cool guys don't look at explosions.
Yes.
Seems like Antares will just calmly transition back to the mid lane without a shockwave, but it seems like the cooldown will be enough there. KRX here. A lot of damage, but Kissy is very, very tanky. Looking at the wall that Talia built, though, it doesn't seem like Nue was able to fully transition. Hindi niya sinakyan. It was just there to close him off. But I think the fight could have been less close pag sinakyan na talaga ni
Nue yung wall niya. Nakalimutan niya. Napindot yung R ng sobra.
Seems like another fight in the mid lane.
Okay, here we go. Of course, Vince once again. That is a tanky target. He gets the shield from his passive as well. Decimating smash muli. But of course, there is Antares with the balls to zone out. Dissonance and command attack as well will be in range to attack the turret. Of course, Eye of the Storm will provide durability and resistances to deny SLU of any first turret for this game. Interestingly, we are about to reach the 20-minute mark, and as we mentioned, the laning pace has been prolonged. Wala pa rin tayong first blood turret.
Wala paling first turret, but that mid lane turret is so close to being destroyed. A good team fight, or might even a one pick-off, could transition to a very good siege there coming into the mid lane.
Yep. Course,
so far though, it's just gonna be the Cloud Drake live. I don't think it will be a very high priority, but if it's free, they will take it. Just gonna clear a little bit of a vision on that side, taking away the tunnels as well. But I don't think they will try to force a Cloud Drake too much. The value from that dragon is not a lot compared to Savvy.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, nakamula kay Cry. Savvy, a very squishy target, and Akinos, a very painful champion.
Yep,
that's
with
the perfect combination.
Blade of the Ruined King as well. That will be a nice pickup actually for the early game for the burst coming from Akinos. And the new Borg, very, very good.
And in the mid game and in the playstyle na pwedeng gawin ng UC sa kanilang composition, Cloud Drake would be nice.
Yeah,
yeah.
Cloud Drake would be nice. It's a free pickup after that kill.
There's actually something happening as well in the top lane. May stand up with the shockwave mula kay
Is that
Jabs.
worth it,
Of
though?
course, may ginana si New Win. Patay niya si Vince, mga kaibigan. Kra is taking hits mula kay KRRX. Will tunnel away as you could see na nakuha ni Antares dito yung outer mid lane turret. Of course, nandun pa rin si Talia. Weaver's Wall is still on cooldown. So, reset tayo, mga kaibigan.
That's just a free pickup for UC there, and also being able to escape the rest of that chase after the dragon was pretty good for them. I don't know if that shockwave, no, that shockwave was definitely not worth it.
Nope.
Just onto the support there, onto Babs. I think if he positioned the ball and continued the fight and saved the shockwave for 2 or 3, especially for Akinos, I think it would have been really, really tasty for KRX to get that kill with collateral damage. Because right now,
Antares may want to step up ha sa shockwave
KRX.
niya. That's the second shockwave missing ha. Isa dun sa top lane on Cry. Ngayon yung kanina, well, it did not miss pero it could be done better. That is the link for our search and win trivia question. Ano kaya yung tanong, no? Even as we don't know.
Because the game has been very chaotic so far, with lots of highs and lows, quick phases, and then a little bit of a slow down, chill phase. This is going to be very exciting. And the game is close. It's still anyone's game.
Yes,
the teleport here for the top lane.
Everyone's going to and very willing to take the fight. Let's see, no KRX here. He is out of gas, no mana. The health is also low, so Vince will feel for his ally. I think there's enough durability on him that will allow KRX as well.
Get that turret for free. Plus, they did bait out Kissy's teleport there, so that's actually very good. It means in the next 3 minutes, or actually 2 minutes, might be an aggressive fight here. Just a few love taps here and there. But yeah, if their fight does break out in the next 2 or 3 minutes, they're in the bot lane. Vince will have his teleport up before Kissy. And that's actually pretty huge.
Ay, naalala ko para sa SLU dito ay yung shockwave nga ni Antares. Talaga, he has to focus on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He needs to hit that on priority targets. And the most priority target here is really only Akinos. Because the rest of them are only there, not only there, but there to board this front line, to help him position. Niue, even if he does have decent damage, his main purpose is to weave the walls, to construct the terrain for Akinos to continue carrying.
You could see the power talaga, leading power ng Sion doon. Decimating Smash plus Howl of the Slayer, yun lang yung kailangan
just to wave clear as well. Even with the Rift Herald buff, Vince is really having a little bit of a hard time, but still matching them. Ooh, Niue.
Alright,
now
Soul Furnace gets activated as well. Decimating Smash did not connect. There goes the Unraveled Earth as well as the Seismic Shove. Reverse Wall not yet to be casted. Of course, Threaded Valley is on cooldown. So, ang laki ng damage doon na nabitaw. New doon onto Vince.
But still not enough to take out Vince. Very, very tanky Poppy there. KRX does not want to proc that Baron. Still needs to clear those wards though.
Alright. Taas ang damage ng Threaded Valley, no? Okay. Pag talaga nag-connect sa'yo, pag nasalo mo lahat ng bato.
Yeah, and the slow there as well is very, very painful. And Niue is no slouch in an extended fight with Aroa, keeping him alive there. Another fighter in the bottom lane.
Let's pursue in. Akinos knows he got a shield. Blade of the Ruined King gets used mula sa end. No, dalawang ito. Akinos receives the burn. Here comes Vince. Shockwave, no teleport. And that's, as you mentioned, hindi kailangan ng teleport kung may labanan dito sa bottom lane kasi naglakad lamang si Vince. There is KRRX around the vicinity. UC may need a call to defend their bottom lane.
Very brave going for the Baron here after everyone's been distracted. Vince has teleport, but doesn't seem like they have any clue here. They're gonna trade a bot lane turret
and they can just trade that with the top lane, huh? When they take the Baron,
they take the top lane. So it's gonna be very, very sneaky, a confident play from Scythe. I am impressed. No vision from SLU.
And there's a ping. There's a ping mula sa SLU. Now they just realize, and now they will lose an outer top lane turret.
Yeah, and this is actually going to balance out the gold here. With the turret being destroyed. Very well played from Scythe. I am impressed. I did not expect them to make that play, but they did.
Nice call.
That was a nice call. Everyone was distracted. They were not in a position to contest that at all.
Good job as well mula kay Akinos siya kay Babs of not staying there in the bot lane.
Yeah.
Had they stayed, nako.
And a lot of the fights happening in this game have been they almost get a kill. They get a gank, almost get a kill, and they did disengage. But that Baron traded so well for all the resources they spent staying alive there in the bot lane. Distracted them time, Just gave them a lot of time, gave them a lot of alone time with a Baron there.
Yeah.
So, very impressed.
And of course, SLU will want to clean up sa top lane.
Yeah.
What happens? Opening bottom lane. Another turret for UC.
Ooh.
Okay, knock up on KRRX. Again, may juicy bounty pa rin para dito.
Yeah,
Mula
but
dito,
the thing
KRRX.
is, it seems like KRX's power has plateaued.
Yes.
And he's going a little bit defensively now, going into the Starex gauge, so he's not the burst monster that he could have been. So a lot of the damage will be coming from Legolas, actually,
And
even with a little bit of lethality.
It's not going to be a Yunmo's
KRX
Ghostblade. That is...
That's the Edge of Night?
Edge of Night.
Yeah.
Okay, Enchanted Crystal
Akinos
Arrow on a juicy target. Of course, knock up din mula kay Vince. Hindi kailangan yung proc damage dito ng Q ng ating Poppy. And they know that they can take a fight. It's a 4v5 without any ADC para sa kamay dito ng UC. Kailangan umatras niyo dito. Siya lamang ang only target. Shockwave though won't be available. KC is getting punished here. Forced to flash away. Shield from Janna. Monsoon won't be enough as Antares has the burst. It's still a 5v4 kasi may passive-passive. KC will be enough at least to show members of SLU and at least an opener for New to land some damage mula sa Threaded Valley. But this puts SLU in the position to take a Drake, a Cloud Drake.
It's going to be a Cloud Drake, but seems like Cry still wants to take it away. Does not want to give it away for free.
Sumama si Babs! Mga kaibigan!
What?
Okay, Cry will flash out.
Ignite will finish him.
I understand yung
no,
blasting cone.
Yeah.
I understand yung blasting cone. Nakita ko na yan lagi kay Gerald.
But Babs also joins in. How unfortunate. And that's actually the momentum again on the side of SLU.
Yeah.
Get the Dragon, get 2 members, and this allows them to counter the pushes that UC made with their own.
Just because of the position of Akinos and another Enchanted Crystal Arrow. It's a deja vu, actually, for this ADC as he gets slain and opened up by that Enchanted Crystal Arrow. New is in kill range. That leaves Casey vulnerable, be left for dead. Okay, Vince will walk away. Movement speed mula sa kanyang steadfast presence. And yep, SLU goes in big dito sa mid lane.
Yeah, and the momentum again on their side. The Baron buff doesn't even matter now because UC does not have the momentum, does not have the waves to utilize it right now. And even though there's a huge wave there in the top lane, they're not in a position to take advantage of it.
Dalawang Enchanted Crystal Arrow lang kailangan para alisin yung Baron.
Because once Akinos is gone, all the damage from the scythes is just wiped out. You can see here, Babs is like, unfortunate.
Action star.
Yep.
Alam mo yung Moving the Other, guys? Have you watched that?
No.
The one where ang bida ay si Nick Fury, si Samuel Jackson, if I'm not mistaken, tsaka si The Rock. Tapos tumalon sila sa building. Tapos sobrang iconic nung pagtalon nila. Sa super slow-mo.
Damn.
Tapos, walang sumalo sa kanila sa baba.
Oh, that's gotta be painful.
Yeah, dumiretso lang sila flat.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened with Cry and Babs there. Very, very unfortunate. But again, yes, it's gonna be a 4K goal lead. The Baron buff advantage is now gone for UC. The Cloud Drake has been equalized. It's gonna be SLU with a ball in their hands again.
And a very, very observable light advantage as well. In the hands of mga taga-Louisians, yan, if I'm not mistaken for the hashtag nila. Really quite an achieving school. Right now, that's a 4K gold lead.
And they're focusing here in the top lane because that's where they have deep wards placed. So they have the information that they need in around that area. Looking at the build from Legolas is going to be a very interesting build path. Actually, the Bork is understandable considering Cry and Kissy, as well as a little bit of HP on Newer from the Rod of Ages. That's the Black Cleaver as well to shred, plus the Last Whisper right now.
Yan nga yung running meta ngayon, kasama yung Lucian, Bork plus Black Cleaver.
Yeah, but it seems like right now Akinos is going for that Bork plus Triforce, plus that QSS to not get caught again by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Adaptive itemization there, but it will delay his damage a little bit. And delaying his damage means the entirety of Scythe is put in a dangerous spot because he's their only major source of damage. And his physical damage at that, it seems like Vince will not make it very easy for Akinos to get out of his clutch. He's got the Frozen Fist, the Iceborne Gauntlet, plus a lot of armor from the Sunfire Cape and that Gauntlet, as I just said. So it's going to be very hard if Vince is able to get on Akinos.
So you could see an observable reset here. As I'd say, UC is taking their good time in reading what can be done here as they tragically lost a lot, okay? Mula doon sa mga enchanted crystal arrow onto Akinas. Now onto Vince. Take note that is a tank they are targeting. Redemption would be available. Will sustain a lot of health mula kay Vince.
Seems like that's just a reset of the
I don't think that's the best idea. That's one of the worst way to engage, ladies and gentlemen. But of course, there's going to be a Poppy using his ultimate. And without Akinas, Akinas though is there. So still taking the fight without any damage mula din sa calling na to. Still, he got all the skills and the weaves. And wala rin kasing Ash. It's going to be University of the Cordilleras, despite an awkward start, still took the lead just because wala si...
Very opportunistic play
wala si Legolas dun eh.
Yeah, very opportunistic play from Kissy. Legolas not there, just charges straight up and no one was there to body block for Antares. So he goes straight. Yeah, so we can see here that the charge...
That should be on SLU.
No one is body blocking for Antares, not even Vince. Just one there for the judgment.
Yes.
And it's just straight up cleanup for Akinos and the rest of UC here. Without Legolas, there's not enough damage to match the threat the rest of them can put out. Akinos just going straight for it with Cry.
Yeah.
You can see the power.
And the lifesteal as well.
Yeah, the power and the lifesteal. Triforce plus Bork. It seems like he's transitioning that into a Zeal item. It's probably going to be, it could be Static Shiv or it might actually even be Phantom Dancer, but it's going to be one of those.
Here we go. Baron round 2.
Baron up. Seems like control of the Baron Pit will go to UC. Clearing those wards, preparing for the inevitable fight. Oh, okay. Legolas.
There's a pick off onto Legolas. Threaded Volley still connecting the heal. Of course, Enchanted Crystal Arrow. There goes Savvy, the support in the front line. KRRX though, they may want to fall back. Shockwave blast the collateral damage. Savvy secures that one though. Here comes Vince. Will use his ultimate. Who will stop that?
Stops.
Yeah. Of course. And yep. But
I think
that's SLU.
Yeah, that was very close
for Legolas
there, and Niue just pays the price for it. Almost risky because I don't think the collateral damage did anything. Because Savvy killed him before the collateral damage could explode. I think they could have fought a little bit more if they had that ultimate.
Save the collateral damage, no?
Yeah, especially for Akinos. Akinos being there almost taking out a lot in the fight. It seems like they will be focusing the Mountain Drake here. Very, very important for these turrets that they want, as well as the Baron.
That is Cry though. That is target member ng UC. Not a priority despite the position here of SLU is quite good.
But the Burrow is on cooldown. For the short time that it's not there, it's going to be very hard for Cry to take a steal. Okay.
Well, at least yung Keeper's Verdict there did not connect, but should be enough to ward off at least Cry.
Yeah, and Cry, the cooldown for the Burrow there, the tunnel, did not let him even get a chance to steal that Mountain Drake. Seems like they will be transitioning here to take control of the Baron.
Pero take note, wala dito yung Oriana nila, ha? So Vince is taking a lot of turrets, or rather hits pala mula dito sa ating Dali, and of course from Akinas as well. Rather Niue would be just picking up this blue buff. Clearly, this is an all-out Baron standoff. Let's see if will somebody connect or commit.
Seems like so far it's just a short, slow dance here around the Baron, but a lot of vision being thrown around.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very, very important to keep that vision around the Baron Pit.
Will be ballsy enough to initiate. There are a lot of initiate champions actually dito. Enchanted Crystal Arrow.
There's a lot you can do with the Baron dance other than just baiting around the bushes. Because you can go for the pressure in the mid lane to force them there and continue the dance. Take a step forward, take a step back. But it seems like both of these teams, no one seems to be leading the dance explicitly. They're both kind of just stepping around, waiting to see what the other will do, throwing out their skills just for that wave clear.
Yep, and to take note, all the more na nagte-threaded Valley dito si Talia. All the more na hindi niya magagamit to. Rather, he's gonna use his ultimate knowing na isolated si Ash dito. And the power of the picks! And the composition ng University of Cordilleras. Nicely done there. and getting
Seems like they will
Legolas.
be taking
But
a fight
rather,
there,
there's
though.
gonna be the mistake of taking a fight without the numbers advantage with the Jana Monsoon. Not gonna be enough, but there's a burst mula sa kamay ng SLU. Here comes the rest of the members of UC.
They're at choke point.
is still on cooldown though, so there's gonna be on choke point. Lots of free hits mula kay Nui, lots of free hits din mula kay Akinos, pero pinapahirapan siya ni Vince. Mukhang unang mawawala dito si Cry. Antares doing the work against Akinos, ladies and gents. It's a very, very close fight. It's a 3-4-2, and that's still on SLU.
And even without Legolas there, they tunneled so much onto Legolas that they picked a fight in the mid lane without any numbers advantage, as you said. Looking at the replay here, the redemption, not enough impact there.
Yeah.
And they just straight up with the collateral damage take away their support. They're here in a choke point, and the biggest benefactor for this is actually KRX. Being able to just go in with the scatter shots, with the ends of the end of the lines, being able to go in there, do that damage, and Taris as well with all of his AoE.
The big
he's
problem,
able to take advantage of that terrain.
The big problem lang, hindi pala nakabuelo yung backline dito ng SLU kasi yung passive ni Sion. There's crazy amount of damage. Dun sa backline, namatay ka agad si Sion.
Yeah.
But napuno ulit yung buhay, passive, getting the lifesteal, and that's damage you cannot ignore. Okay? I mean,
still,
double zombie Sion, enchanted crystal arrow.
Hits the bullseye.
Yeah, enough for the kill.
So it's still a substantial lead in kills for SLU, but the gold, looking at the gold, it's very equal. It's the CS here on the side of Akinos that makes the difference, actually. So it's still anyone's game. It
Galing
depends
pumana
on,
ni, ano, no? Galing pumana ni Legolas, no?
Yeah, you can kill all those elephants with just an arrow and a bow. It seems like the one leading the Baron play is SLU with their dance here. Deus Volt. They say, God wills it, we will have this Baron buff, but Cry has something to do about it.
There seems the keeper's verdict. Baron in the hands of SLU. Will this be it? Will it be God's will? As SLU might be aiming to take a fight, knowing that they got a very big buff in their pocket. Rather, it will be UC calling out a reset. Okay, so Baron in SLU.
I think this is actually very, very strong on SLU. They have 280 carries. They have a solid front line. They have good utility from both Savvy and Antares.
Strong, initiate as well.
So
enchanted crystal arrow.
So it's going to be up to who pulls the trigger better. Who aims better under win conditions.
And there's more freedom para sa kanilang SLU now that they have the Baron.
So it's really up to how the Scythes play their win conditions, because they have only one major source of damage. New is a lot utility and CC based. So it's going to be up to how they can defend Akinos, how they can keep him alive. But it's going to be very hard when there's a lot of threat coming from Antares, KRX, and Legolas. It's come to the point, the game is at the point where Antares can actually put out very good amounts of damage with his Rabadon's Death Cap, with his Luden's Echo. And they're going to try and siege this. The wave clear come from Scythes, very, very effective. Even the Baron-empowered minions are no match for the wave clear that the Piercing Light and the Threaded...
Just don't miss the Shockwave.
Yeah.
Yun lang kailangan dito ng SLU.
Ooh, aggressive from Vince. Just a little bit of a love tap.
Yeah, not the best target really. But look at the damage. Mula kay Antares.
Yeah, Antares. So, the fact here is that Antares is now a damage threat, not just a utility threat.
And enchanted crystal arrow. Yun yung kailangan banayan. Bobs won't be even allowed to cast his Monsoon. This as the tank is fully utilized. There is the redemption, quite delayed para sa using, hindi na nila natayuan. Still, Kisi is there. He is on double zombie mode. Now onto Akinos with last two members, the squishy ones, the heavy damage dealers, the priority targets, New and Akinos. Akinos will still survive despite falling below 100 health. And can they still defend it? Of course, New cannot afford to die in this game. Vince is trying to spot out a position kung saan pwede siya makakuha ng heroic charge. Lots of damage muli kay Akinox na napauwi. There's enough wave clear mula kay New. I think his mana will cut it as well and will be enough for SLU to call fallback. It's time to fight. Let's fight. Let's take the fight on a different part.
And that will be actually Elder Drake once it comes out in 2 seconds. Let's look at the replay in this fight here. Babs is actually an important target here because he keeps the team alive. He keeps Akinos alive with the Monsoon and the Eye of the Storm. But all of them focusing on Vince gives him a little bit of time there to focus on Vince. But still, the damage coming from KRX, Legolas, and Antares is just way too much. And even with a passive, Kissy just falls. very, very quickly. Vin sacrifices his GA for that. And I think that's worth. They get a lot of kills on top of that, get a 4K gold lead, and they will actually be able to transition that into the Elder Drake. And it's gonna
they won't even need to really establish like concrete vision. Rather, what they'll do is just rush this Elder Drake. Can Cry make a miracle play?
Kissy
Stun
has
still
teleport,
available.
but it's too
He
late.
may want to go in, get
Oh,
shot by
the delivery!
Lots of crowd control. The delivery as well. No steal, ladies and gents. Keeper's verdict will send Cry flying away. Enchanted Crystal Arrow muli
Babs
kay
again.
Bebs. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow Legolas, mga kaibigan. Grabe, ang galing talaga.
That was very, very clean coming from the Deus Vault from St. Louis University. Even though Babs is the only victim there, the only casualty, that was a very good denying even the chance for a steal with a heroic charge plus shockwave.
Yeah, it may seem just a simple Enchanted Crystal Arrow. The thing there is that he decides to cast it kung saan nandoon sa brush na yon, na sobrang sikip. You know, there is a very high odds of connecting that onto a champion.
And Babs as well, important target, keeping the turrets alive.
Yes, of course.
Keeping turrets alive, keeping Akinos alive as well. So really, very clean from St. Louis University.
Of course, ladies and
So
gentlemen. As you've seen, meron yata tayong problema, connection issue, technical difficulty. We'll just update you with that. But so far, observing the face of that game, Babs getting caught out and the itemizations then and the lead na meron sila. Plus, Elder Drake secured ng SLU.
I think it's the composition as well.
I would be confident to call na it's very likely ang mananalo doon o baka nanalo na doon ay yung SLU.
Yeah,
They're already knocking in the base.
They had the momentum, they had Elder Drake plus Baron, and I think it's really in the composition because right now, the only source of damage that the Scythes have is Akinos. New is just there for a lot of utility. He does have
New
the
kind
AP.
of fall off.
Yeah, he
Pagpasok ng
falls
late
off.
game.
And the longer he stays in an area, the less he can bring out his Q, his stones. And Akinos being 500 range is very, very dangerous to stay near any of the champions on the side of SLU. So it's actually very, very painful to try and keep going for that 500 range in carry because Lucian kind of falls off at that point of the game where he can't reliably burst down champions anymore.
He was forced to pick up an QSS.
Yeah, so that really delays his damage
further.
further.
So yung damage niya doon, di ba?
While
on the side of Legolas, nakita mo yung adjustment niya. Okay, I won't target Akinos.
Yeah.
Let's just aim for the Janna or anyone na pwede. Ayan. So, ladies and gentlemen, we just heard the news that we receive an spectate error sa ating game. We're just waiting out for the results. Kung ano yung kung sino yung nanalo doon. Okay, we'll see because we haven't seen it. Ayun, there you go. So, blue side, red side to. Observing the kills naman. Okay, wala kasi yung victory screen.
Yeah.
Pero I think observing the kills, it would be intuitive to think that is very likely SLU. Yes, that's the red win.
It's going to be
SLU
winning that. I think it was very, very shaky there in the early game. But, look at Antares' damage with the Rabidon's Death Cap, with the Void Staff, with the Luden's Echo.
Pero yung shockwave niya,
yeah.
Yung shockwave niya, it could be done better.
Yeah, could have been done better. But his actual consistent damage throughout the fights was actually on point.
Because of the resistance na tinayo dito ng
Legolas actually doing the least amount of damage.
What happened here is that because yung early game inopen dito ni KRX, for the most part, they were thinking of building armor.
Yeah.
Yan yung naging problema. And also nagiging threat din si Legolas. In a sense na yung arrow niya nga. So to the point na nakaka-sneaky si Oriana.
But then
hindi nila pinoproblema si Oriana kasi yung shockwave. I mean, wala silang nakitang threat na shockwave. Pero QW lang.
Nandun yung
command, dissonance lang. Enough na. Pero I'd really give it and I'd really commend Legolas for the arrows. Bigla na lang parang...
Even if he wasn't the biggest damage dealer, he's actually the least damage dealer out of the 4 who are not supports. But still, the Enchanted Crystal Arrows set them up for the fights. Even if it was just Babs, Babs is actually huge.
The thing there is that he initiates from afar.
Yes.
Ang layo.
Kaya
talaga,
part,
by the moment na nag-connect yung Enchanted Crystal Arrow, yung mga kampi niya yung mag-clean up. Siyempre, ano na lang target niya.
And Babs, even though it's just the support, who gets caught out with Enchanted Crystal Arrow. That's a lot. That's a lot of HP from the Eye of the Storm. That's a lot of HP from the Monsoon as well in this disengage. So it's huge.
And this kind of in this kind of game and in this kind of composition, pag nagkaroon ka ng numbers disadvantage, you're set to lose. So kahit support lang yung mawala sa'yo, malaking problema. Ang laki na nakakontribute ng support sa laro. So ladies and gentlemen, the biggest congratulations, Kylie Versosa, mga kaibigan. St. Louis University, congratulations on taking their victory against University of Cordilleras. Yes, indeed, it is God's will.
That was Deus Vault.
Of course, we have been your shotcasters for that game. I am Shinbo with the 149, and of course, with me is Atlas. That is just Game 2 here on the 5th week for the Lenovo LCL 2017 Spring Term. Guys, we'll see you on Game 3. Ng SLU, Exos and Legolas, mamamaalam siya. Lord of the Rings, ladies and gentlemen, here comes Cry once again. Return damage, tap on lane, gets pushed into the wall. Whereas yung ADC na lang si Akinos ay wala na rin. So 1-for-1, ADC evens for these two teams. Cry though, I wonder how it is.
The red buff applied.
This is just one end of the line. Kahit wala ng return damage. Okay, normally lang kailangan tumungan. Knock up the end of the line. Collateral damage will not connect. Here comes Kisi KRRX. Gets the knock up. There is the support mula kay Antares of 2v1. Labs, he will put in the shield mula kay Kisi. Very likely Kisi will survive. Flash away mula kay Sabi the backline. Cry will shove away and shoo away Antares dito. Being the tanky target. Not gonna be a priority, syempre, but still will receive a knock up mula kay Cry. Maybe wanna watch out. Do take note Antares still has mana here. He has the firepower. One last tap, ultimation, and up front the passive is okay. In now kapula kay Cry. Ang daming pinag na flash dito mula sa UC. Flash out si Antares. Won't be touched here by the members of University of Cordilleras. But here comes Kisi. Movement speed mula kay Sabi. There's KRRX and you can see them being up front. Hindi na problema yan. Double kill na po itong ating Papi. Hammer fall onto Babs, and that's two champions in the pocket of the decimating smash. Ladies and gentlemen, end of the line gets casted and Kisi will be forced to flash away. So Furnace gets used for the shield. Here comes Cry. Hero charge muli mula kay Vince. Come on, nakapuntaan. Barrow force ang flash away mula kay Liu. Wala may pipil para kay Liu. KRRX will make it a bounty. Vince speak the tank. Ito yung pinakaya mong sitwasyon. Yung may Papi at may Graves sa likod. Pero kung tatlo kayo, okay lang. So KRRX will walk away knowing that his frontline Vince is already DC is getting punished here. Force the flash away. Shield from Jana. Monsoon will pin up as Antares has the curse. It's still a 5v4. Kasi may Papi. What? Okay, Cry will flash out.
Ignite will finish it.
I understand yung blasting code.
Yeah.
I understand yung blasting code. Nakita ko na yan lagi kay Gerald. Another enchanted crystal arrow. It's a deja vu. Actually, for this ADC, as he gets laid and opened up by that enchanted crystal arrow. New instant kill range. That makes Kisi vulnerable. Be left for dead. Okay, your Vince will walk away. Movement state note. That is the tank they are targeting. Redemption will be available. Will sustain a lot of health mula kay Vince. I don't think that's the best idea. That's one of the worst way to engage, ladies and gentlemen. But of course, there's going to be a Papi using his ultimate and without Akinos. Akinos though is there, so still taking the fight without any damage mula dun sa calling na to. Still, he got all the skills in the wheels and wala rin kasing Ash. It's gonna be University of the Cordilleras taking a fight without the numbers advantage with Jana Monsoon. Not gonna be enough, but there's the burst mula sa kamay ng SLU. Here comes the rest of the members of UC. Shockwave is still on cooldown though, so there's gonna be on choke point. Lots of free hits mula kay Nui, lots of free hits din mula kay Akinos, pero pinapahirapan siya ni Vince. Mukhang unang mawawala dito si Cry. Antares doing the work against Akinos, ladies and gents. And enchanted crystal arrow. Yun yung kailangan batayan. Bobs won't be even allowed to cast his Monsoon. This is the tank is fully utilized. There is the redemption, quite delayed para sa using hindi na nila natayuan. Still, Kisi is there. He is on double zombie mode. Now onto Akinos with last two members, the squishy ones, the heavy damage dealers, the priority targets, New and Akinos. Akinos will still survive despite falling below 100 health. And can they still defend it? Of course, you cannot afford to die in this game. Vince is trying to spot out a position kung saan pwede siya makakuha ng hero charge. Lots of damage muli. Kay Akinos, no steal, ladies and gents. Keeper's verdict will send Cry flying away. Enchanted Crystal Arrow muli kay Bebs. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow Legolas, mga kaibigan. Grabe, ang galing talaga.
That was very, very